Good morning, Nashville. I'm surprised to see not really too many people because of the lights, but I imagine there's a lot of people here who actually made it back from whatever crazy bars that you may have been at last night. I see many of you who I recognize from those crazy bars. So anyway, I'm Ryan Pamplin, VP Digital Evangelist at Extreme Reach. I get to say cool things like, may the advertising be with you. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the state of digital video in 2015. I'm going to run you through a little bit for like 30 seconds about Extreme Reach, and then I'm going to get into some juicy content that you're going to want to write down and take home because it's very interesting, very exciting, system-wide metrics from all the digital video we've measured this year. All right, my clicker's not working, guys, back there. If you can make that work, there we go. Great, so about Extreme Reach, let's see, let's go back. Okay. Try that again. Great. So is that right? Yeah, okay, great. Now it's working. So about Extreme Reach, literally every single Ad Age 100 brand uses us in one way or another. We're the leader in TV ad distribution. Nearly 9 out of 10 TV ads in the US run through Extreme Reach. We're also the leader in talent and rights management, keep track of over 100,000 actors, artists, and musicians who appear in TV commercials and digital video ads, pay out over $1 billion a year in royalties to them. And we also make the most sophisticated software in the world for measuring digital video ads across desktop, mobile, tablet, and connected TV. It looks a little something like this. Every single metric ticks in real time, even down to the most granular level. All right, but enough of that. Let's jump into some of the metrics. So this is from eMarketer. They say daily time spent with major media by US adults has changed. So if we look in 2011 versus 2015, we look at digital, 3 hours, 40 minutes versus 5 hours and 38 minutes spent with digital. So we can see that television has now lost its lead, and digital has surpassed total time spent. This is not news. I think everyone in this room probably knows this, but it's interesting to see visualized, and every year that's just creeping up more and more. And if you break it out by video, this is something you don't see a lot. The number is a lot different, right? So digital video itself has not surpassed time spent with traditional television yet, although the number's gone up from 21 minutes in 2011 to 1 hour and 16 minutes in 2015. So pretty significant growth there, and I think you're going to see sustained growth over the next couple of years in this area as well. And with the under 35s, this is far more pronounced than it is with the general audience. So there's a couple trends I want to point out in digital video that I think are really interesting, and I think you will too. So first of all, 1.4 million new households were created in 2014, and of those, only 140,000 of them subscribed to cable. Think about that. 90% of people that moved into a new household, moved out of their mom's basement, got a house, did not subscribe to traditional cable. The stats do say that those people are subscribing to other services like Hulu and Netflix and all sorts of other, Amazon Prime, things like that. This is interesting. I figured this out by reading the SEC filing of Facebook and comparing to the IAB numbers. So 69% of all mobile ad revenue in 2014 went to Facebook, which is pretty nuts. I don't think that's going to happen again this year. I think people have figured out mobile a lot more. Facebook was a little ahead of the curve. In November of this year, which is right now, in case you didn't know, Facebook said its users are watching 8 billion videos every single day, up from 4 billion in April. So very substantial growth in a very short amount of time. And here's what's particularly compelling to me. 75% of all those video views are happening on mobile devices within Facebook. And this one is interesting, and this is something that's only come out recently. So the standard for what a view is and what Facebook is counting as their 8 billion views is a heck of a lot different than what YouTube and other players out there are counting as a view. So the Facebook standard for a view is 3 seconds, just like the MRC standard, versus about 30 seconds on YouTube to count as a view. And also Facebook is auto-playing and YouTube is click-to-play. So there's more intent there. So I don't know that the 8 billion views really means the same as whatever YouTube's crazy number is, but interesting nonetheless. And then, of course, in May 2015, I know many of you sitting here are affected by this, Verizon bought AOL for $4.4 billion to take a significant step in building digital and video platforms to drive future growth. I think what that means is they think digital video is a real thing. And if you talk to some of the heads of sales at giant TV networks, what they'll tell you is, I don't think I'm going to sell linear video, traditional television. I think it's all going to be digitally delivered in 10 years, if not sooner. And I think Verizon thinks that too and bought AOL. In July, AT&T closed a $49 billion acquisition of DirecTV, making it the largest pay TV provider with more than 26 million subscribers. This is very interesting. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff already. They're dynamically inserting ads into live streams, different ads showing to different people. This is definitely the way of the future. It's very exciting, and I think it's cool for all of the marketers in this room. This is another one that people really freaked out about in video. So is the death of Flash going to kill me? Am I in trouble? Are my ads going to stop working? Well, in-banner ads, yes, they will stop working if they're Flash in Chrome. Particularly in-banner video is not going to work, but that's really low-quality inventory, as you'll hear from me in a little bit when I talk about the stats. So it's not that big of a deal. If it's a real, true video ad in a big, beautiful player, it's going to play. It's not going to be affected by this. Google has an algorithm that figures that out. But this is definitely something to be aware of. It certainly can help create discrepancies. The way that it works, too, if you haven't noticed this, is actually inside of the player. Let's say it's a banner, 300 by 250. It actually puts a little play button over it if it's a Flash in-banner ad or a video ad in banner. And you actually have to hit play in order to watch the ad. I don't think very many people hit play on the ads. So, okay, system-wide averages. January 1st through September 17th of this year, we measure a very substantial chunk of the overall digital video ecosystem for many of the world's biggest brands. And these are the averages from our entire system that I'm giving to you guys for free. Enjoy them, take them home, use them for whatever you want. Some of these are going to get really interesting. So first of all, non-viewable impressions, not that surprising. You've probably seen metrics like this before. 58.4% of everything we've measured for all these big brands has actually been non-viewable. If we break that out by direct publishers versus inventory aggregators, it gets a little bit interesting. We see direct publishers have a little bit better non-viewability. What I mean is it's lower. Lower is better in this particular case. So a little higher with the inventory aggregators, but not as pronounced of a difference as it used to be, actually. So when I say in-stream and I'm talking about in-banner, I'm talking about in-stream, big, beautiful player, the white player with the black button, versus below the fold in-banner, 300 by 250 typically. Very significant difference in quality. When you look at the video player sizes, you've got your nice, big, beautiful player. There's actually an IAB minimum. I don't know if you all know this, but 400 by 300 is the IAB minimum recommended size for digital video. They say don't transact on video that's smaller than that. And the in-banner is typically 300 by 250. I see some photos going, so I'll let you take those photos real quick. Great. So pre-roll ads delivered in banner, not as bad as last year, 17.7%. Last year was 25%. We've seen a substantial drop in this within our clients. I think we have a little bit of bias in this area because we actually advise our clients to write into their insertion orders, we will not pay for anything Extreme Reach Digital deems to be in banner or below the IAB minimum recommended size of 400 by 300. And as a result, they save a huge multiple of what they spend with us. And of course, the vendors are delivering a lot less in banner, hence the number going down from 25%. So I think it's on average higher than this for most, but not if you're using us. And it's really about having that feedback loop with the media vendor to tell them, hey, here's all the placements that I'm ending up in banner. Please take me out of these, and having that every single day so that you can really hone in on what's working, what's reaching real people, and driving real results. So if we look at in-banner delivery by media type, direct publishers, it's almost not an issue, 2.3%. Versus the aggregators, where it's happening 30.4% of the time. So nearly 1/3 of the time, if I'm buying from a video ad network or an exchange, my ads are ending up, even though they're supposed to be in a big, beautiful, premium pre-roll player, they're ending up inside of a 300 by 250, which is a challenge because over 90% of the time, these are below the fold, muted, and non-viewable. So they're worthless for a lot of clients, and that's why it's great to optimize out of those environments. So non-viewable impressions are kind of the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of other challenges that we're all facing. So we've got the in-banner, we've got bot traffic, we've got unsafe environments. So this is where I think it's going to get particularly interesting. And these are numbers you don't typically see shared. But we want the industry to become a better place, so we're being transparent and sharing this. Video impressions generated by bots, 12.7% of everything that we've measured January through September 17th. 12.7% of everything is ending up being delivered to a bot or high-frequency filtered, high-frequency fraud, whatever you want to call it, this is what it is. And if we break it out, this is where it gets really interesting. So 4.2% of the direct pubs are delivering to bots, but this is what's crazy to me. This is what I hope you write down and take home. 24.7% of all digital video ad impressions delivered from video ad networks or exchanges that we've measured this year, which is, again, a big chunk, so I think it's representative of the industry, are bots. So huge opportunity for brands to save a ton of money. In the case of our software, we're automatically detecting this, and we're MRC accredited, so we're not counting these as billable. And we're not just saying, hey, forget the media vendor. We're sending a report to the media vendor every day to help eliminate these by IP address, which is a really great feedback loop, works really well. I highly recommend you do that with whatever software that you use. Send IP blacklists and work to actually get rid of the traffic so that you're not going to have big discrepancies. If you're a media vendor, take these kind of reports and use them. If you're on the other side, if you're an advertiser, figure out a way to get this information and send it to your media vendor. I promise it's going to make everything a lot better. Pre-roll completion rate on average is 70.5%. And if we break it down individually, this is a little interesting. Direct publishers, the completion rate is lower than from the aggregators. And you're probably saying, but Ryan, the aggregators are better here. I'm going to be real with you. That's not what's going on. What's going on here is that there's more non-viewability. There's more in-banner. There's more bot traffic. So the numbers are artificially higher. If you actually remove those things, then there's a far different story here than that. You see a much lower number of completion rate for the viewable completes. OK. So we have this really cool survey technology, study technology, that provides unprecedented statistical significance for measuring brand lift, sales lift, whatever you want to measure. So we asked people, what annoys you about digital video advertising? And there were a couple of things that people weren't super big fans of. So first thing was frequency. Stop showing me the same ad over and over again. I'm tired of seeing it. Relevance. If I'm a guy, don't show me a Venus razor ad over and over again. I don't need to see that. I'm not going to buy that. AV quality. The video transcode sucks. It's not a good quality file. It wasn't made from the master, transcoded to the highest resolution and bitrate possible. None. I love digital video advertising. Give me more of it. Creative. It sucks. It's not a good idea. I don't like it. It's not funny. It's not interesting. You're wasting my time. Production value. Really just not professionally produced content. Shaky camera, amateur looking, and other reasons that people shared. And if we break this down by gender, what you see is women get a little bit more annoyed with the frequency than men do. And the older you get, the more annoyed you get. Relevance, men care a little bit more about this, and the older you get, the less you care about things being relevant to you. AV quality, guys notice this a little bit more than the ladies, and it's very interesting to notice that what I think a lot of us refer to as the mobile first generation, they actually don't care about this as much. And I think if you think about why, they're mobile first, right? They have low bandwidth, and they're used to seeing things distorted, low resolution. And then, of course, the older you get for the most part, the less you care about this as well. So a couple digital predictions for you. Time spent with mobile video, I think, is going to overtake desktop by 2017, maybe even 2016. Digital video is going to surpass time spent with traditional TV by 2020. That doesn't mean you're not going to watch things on a nice, big, beautiful screen. It just means that it's going to be delivered digitally in one fashion or another. And this is something that, as an industry, we really need to work on. The majority of desktop users are going to use AdBlock software. Today, the percentage of under 35s that use AdBlock is almost 50%. It's crazy. It's such a huge chunk of all of our target markets, and we're not even able to deliver ads to them. If you're a publisher, you're losing money on these people. And if you're an advertiser, there's no way to get to these people. So I think we, as an industry, need to make the user experience better. I think that's one great thing that we can do. But we also need to think creatively about how we can solve this problem. I don't think there's any magic answer, but it's something that certainly we should all be thinking about. I also think VR is going to be pretty exciting. I met someone here from PlayStation VR, and I like to talk about VR and how I think that's the future of content. So I think that's a huge opportunity for advertisers as well. The Morpheus, which is now PlayStation VR, the Oculus Rift, and if you can be the advertiser that gives someone the first experience in that, then that is a really exciting, memorable thing, and I would definitely jump into that, especially next year when you have tens of millions of households using those things. So I eat, sleep, and breathe this digital video stuff, and I'd love to open it up for any questions that you guys may have. And I'd like to welcome Brian back, too, to help me with that. And there he is.
I'm here. Don't worry. Cool. So anyone have any questions? I wanted to start with that That was a pretty alarming fraud stat.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think a lot of people are afraid to talk about that kind of stuff and to put it out there. You know, we're in a unique position. We don't sell any advertising. It's all about measuring it. And we're not putting it out there to alarm people. We really want to help make things better. And I think there's a lot of ways that we can all work together, publishers and advertisers, to eliminate the bad actors who are part of the networks.
But that's not like, yeah, I mean, it's not like accidental, 25% in networks.
I think in a lot of cases the technology is not in place to know that that's happening. So I think that's, you know, the thing that needs to happen is the feedback loop to know that it's happening. Certainly technology partnerships, but in the short term, if advertisers know this is happening, let's share the detailed information that's going to help them trace back to the source and eliminate it from the network.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Right back here.
Yep.
Question for you about the 25%. Do you think that the pricing that the networks are charging takes that into consideration, or do you think an adjustment needs to be made by the people buying the advertising?
I think that people don't know that this is happening at this scale. I think a lot of the technologies that detect bot traffic don't take a lot of the video metrics into account, so they have no way of knowing. For example, we're going to figure out if something's a bot if we know 8 videos are being watched at the same time by the same user. That's not a real user. Real users don't watch 8 videos simultaneously. So I don't think everyone has the transparency to know what bot fraud is in video all the time. So that information needs to be shared back with the wider audiences. And I think tracing where it's coming from and eliminating it from the source rather than just blocking it on a campaign-to-campaign basis is really the key to making the industry a better place.
Okay, any others? Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Okay, and now